Welcome back to our channel Rare Coins Collections. Coin enthusiasts. Today, we're diving into something that many of you may have overlooked in your change jar, the 1980 Lincoln penny. While it might seem like just another penny, this little coin actually holds the potential to be worth thousands of dollars, and in some rare cases, even more. In this video, we'll be breaking down everything you need to know about the 1980 penny, from its key features to those rare errors that can make it a collector's goldmine. If you're a coin collector or even just someone interested in what makes a penny valuable, stick around because you won't want to miss what we've uncovered. Let's get started. Let's start by talking about the key features of the 1980 Lincoln penny. This coin follows the traditional design that we're all familiar with, but let's take a closer look at the details that make it so important. On the obverse, the front side, you'll see Abraham Lincoln, of course, looking to the right. His portrait was designed by Victor David Brenner, and it's been on the penny since 1909. Around the edge, you'll find the words, "Liberty," on the left, "In God We Trust," above Lincoln's head, and the year, 1980, beneath his bust. The mint mark, which can either be D for Denver or P for Philadelphia, will be found near the date. On the reverse side, you'll see the classic United States of America along the top edge, with E pluribus unum beneath the shield. And at the bottom, in bold letters, you'll see 1 cent. It's a familiar sight, but don't let that fool you. This penny might be hiding something much more valuable. Now, here's where things get really interesting. When you start collecting coins, it's not just about what you see at first glance. Sometimes, errors during the minting process can make a seemingly ordinary penny worth a fortune. The 1980 penny is no exception. One of the most common and valuable errors that collectors look for is the double die obverse. This happens when the coin is struck twice during the minting process, causing the details on the coin to appear doubled. You'll especially see this doubling on the date, 1980, and the word "Liberty" on the obverse side. The doubled features will be more prominent, giving the coin a thicker, bolder appearance compared to a regular penny. Another error to keep an eye out for is an off-center strike. This happens when the penny is not aligned properly during the minting process, and as a result, the design on the coin is shifted to one side. Off-center pennies can vary in severity. Some may have just a slight shift, while others can be dramatically off-center, making them much rarer and more valuable. You should also look for die cracks and die chips. These occur when there's a break in the die used to strike the coin. This can cause cracks or small chunks to appear on the coin's surface, adding a unique touch that collectors often seek out. So why is the 1980 Lincoln penny so valuable? Well, as we mentioned earlier, it all comes down to rarity. Coins with errors are significantly more valuable than their standard counterparts because of the sheer difficulty of finding them. Minting mistakes happen by accident, and when one of those mistakes results in a coin that's visually unique, it becomes a prized item for collectors. A regular 1980 Lincoln penny might be worth only its face value, 1 cent. However, if you happen to find one with a rare error, such as a double die or off-center strike, the value can skyrocket. For collectors, these types of coins are incredibly desirable, as they offer a piece of history with a distinct imperfection that sets them apart from the mass-produced versions. The rarity factor is what drives the price up. The fewer the errors, the higher the value. For example, a 1980 penny with a noticeable double die obverse could easily fetch hundreds of dollars at auction, depending on its condition and the prominence of the doubling. Now that you understand why these pennies can be so valuable, let's talk about how you can spot one of these rare finds in your collection. The key is to take a closer look and examine your pennies under magnification. First, inspect the date and the word "Liberty" closely on the obverse. If you see any doubling, it will appear as though there's a second, faint image of the numbers and letters. This doubling is usually more noticeable in areas with finer detail, like the edges of the numbers or the top of the letters. Next, check for off-center strikes. You can usually tell that the design is shifted if you see part of the coin's edge with no design on it. The further the design is shifted, the more valuable the coin may be. Don't forget to also look for die cracks or die chips. These are less common, but if you spot a small crack or chunk in the design, it could mean you've got a coin that will stand out to collectors. If you're still not sure whether your 1980 penny is worth more than just 1 cent, it's always a good idea to take it to a professional coin dealer or appraiser. They'll be able to confirm whether your coin is a rare find and give you an accurate estimate of its worth. Before we wrap up, I've got a question for you. Have you ever found a rare or unusual coin in your change? Maybe a 1980 Lincoln penny with an error? Drop a comment below and let us know what you've discovered. I'd love to hear your stories. And if you've got a penny sitting around that you think might be valuable, now's the time to take a closer look. To recap everything we've covered today, the 1980 Lincoln penny may look like just another piece of pocket change, but if you find one with a rare error, it could be worth a lot more. From double die varieties to off-center strikes, these errors make the 1980 penny a collector's dream. A well-preserved error coin could be worth anywhere from $3,300 to $35,000, depending on its rarity and condition. So, the next time you dig through your spare change or look through a roll of pennies, take a moment to examine each one carefully. You might just discover a hidden gem worth far more than a single cent. Today's video, we're going to talk about a very special coin, the 1976 Lincoln penny. While you may think this is just another penny in your change jar, there's more to this coin than meets the eye. The 1976 Lincoln penny is one of those classic coins that may not seem extraordinary at first, but with the right knowledge, you'll see how valuable it can be. Stick around, because we're about to reveal why this penny could be hiding a small fortune. Let's begin by taking a closer look at the key features of the 1976 Lincoln penny. This coin was issued during the year of the United States bicentennial, marking 200 years since the signing of the Declaration of Independence. While the penny didn't directly commemorate this event, it still has some interesting details that make it stand out. On the obverse, you'll find the iconic image of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. Lincoln is facing to the right, and beneath his portrait, you'll see the date, 1976, along with the motto, "In God We Trust," above his head. To the left of the bust, you'll spot the word "Liberty." The mint mark for this coin, either D for Denver or P for Philadelphia, will be just to the right of the date. Moving to the reverse, you'll see the classic design featuring a "United States of America" inscription along the top, "E pluribus unum" at the bottom, and 1 cent right in the center. But there's something interesting about the reverse as well. The 1976 penny still features the traditional design, unlike other coins that received bicentennial-themed changes. But despite this, there's still a lot to uncover about its value. Now, let's talk about the errors and what you should be looking for. As with any coin, there's always the possibility that minting mistakes were made. The 1976 penny is no different. In fact, there are a few specific errors that could make your penny worth a lot more than just 1 cent. One of the most valuable errors you'll find is the double die obverse. This occurs when the coin's design is struck twice, leading to a noticeable doubling effect in some areas. On the 1976 penny, you'll most commonly see this doubling on the date and the word "Liberty." If you inspect the coin closely, you'll see a slight shadow of the numbers or letters overlapping with the original strikes. The doubling can appear faint or more obvious, but either way, it's an error that collectors love to find, especially if it's in good condition. Another error to look out for is the off-center strike. This happens when the penny is not properly aligned during the minting process. As a result, the design of the coin shifts to one side, making part of the coin blank or misshaped. Off-center pennies are incredibly rare, and the more extreme the misalignment, the higher the value. So, keep an eye out for coins where the design is off-center or where part of the coin's edge is missing design details. There's also the possibility of die cracks and die chips on the 1976 penny. These errors are caused by imperfections in the die that strikes the coin. If you see a crack or small chunk of metal missing from the coin surface, especially around Lincoln's portrait or the lettering, it could mean your penny is a unique find. While not as valuable as double die errors, die cracks and chips can still fetch a decent price, depending on their size and placement. Now, the question on everyone's mind: why is the 1976 Lincoln penny so valuable? Well, the key to its worth lies in the rarity of the errors we just talked about. A standard 1976 penny is worth only its face value of 1 cent, but when you find one with a rare error like a double die obverse or an off-center strike, the value can increase dramatically. A typical 1976 penny might not seem like much, but coins with minting errors are highly sought after by collectors. The fact that these errors were made during the minting process, by accident, makes these coins a piece of history. And as with anything rare, the fewer the errors, the more valuable the coin becomes. Plus, because these errors are so rare, the demand for them from collectors is high, which drives up their price. The 1976 Lincoln penny, with its specific errors, can easily fetch hundreds of dollars, especially when it's in great condition. But there's more. In exceptional cases, when a 1976 penny features a rare error like a double die or an extreme off-center strike, it can be worth thousands of dollars. This is why some of these pennies can be priced anywhere between $3,300 and $38,000 in the right market, depending on the rarity and condition of the coin. So, how do you spot one of these valuable coins in your own collection? The key is to be meticulous and examine your pennies closely. First, grab a good magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe. You'll want to inspect the date, the word Liberty, and the details of Lincoln's portrait. If you notice any kind of doubling on these elements, especially on the date and the letters of Liberty, you may have a double die obverse error on your hands. Next, look at the alignment of the coin. Hold the penny up to the light, and check to see if the design is off-center. The more dramatic the shift in design, the more valuable the coin could be. Finally, check for any die cracks or die chips. Inspect the areas around Lincoln's bust, as well as along the edges of the coin. Any imperfections could add value, especially if they're distinct and located in prominent areas. If you're still not sure whether your 1976 penny is worth something more than face value, consider taking it to a professional coin grader. They'll be able to examine your penny thoroughly and provide a detailed assessment of its worth. Before we wrap up, I've got a fun question for all of you. Have you ever stumbled upon a coin with a crazy error? Maybe a 1976 penny or another rare find? Drop a comment below and share your discoveries. I'm always curious to hear about what coins you found in your collection. To summarize everything we've covered today, the 1976 Lincoln penny may seem like a regular, everyday penny, but it can actually hold significant value if it has a minting error. From double die obverse to off-center strikes, these errors are what make the 1976 penny so sought after by collectors. And if you're lucky enough to find one with a rare error in excellent condition, it could be worth anywhere between $3,300 and $38,000. So, next time you go through your spare change or dig through a roll of pennies, make sure to keep an eye out for these rare, valuable coins. You might just have a hidden treasure waiting to be discovered. Today, we're focusing on a penny that might just be hiding in your pocket change, the 1973 Lincoln penny. It may seem like just another everyday cent, but there's a lot more to this coin than you might think. In fact, this little piece of history has the potential to be worth a lot of money, depending on its condition and any special errors it might carry. So, let's get into it and take a deep dive into what makes the 1973 Lincoln penny so interesting and valuable. From its unique features to what errors to look for, this video is packed with everything you need to know if you're trying to find a rare treasure in your collection. Let's start by breaking down the key features of the 1973 Lincoln penny. On the obverse, or front side of the coin, you'll find the familiar portrait of President Abraham Lincoln. This design was created by Victor David Brenner, and Lincoln faces to the right. Around his portrait, you'll see the inscription "Liberty" to the left, "In God We Trust" above, and the year 1973 beneath. Right beside the date, you'll also find the mint mark, either a D for Denver or a P for Philadelphia. When you flip the coin over, the reverse features the traditional design with the inscription "United States of America" at the top, "E Pluribus Unum" beneath, and 1 cent at the center. The reverse side also displays the famous wheat ears, a design that has been a part of the Lincoln cent since 1909, although it was replaced by the Lincoln Memorial in 1959. The wheat design adds a classic touch, and for many collectors, it's one of the most iconic features of these pennies. So, in short, the 1973 Lincoln penny looks very similar to other pennies from this era, but there's more to it than meets the eye. And while most 1973 pennies are worth only 1 cent, there are a few factors that can make them more valuable than their face value. Now, let's get into the errors and what to look for. While many people might look at a 1973 penny and assume it's just another ordinary coin, there are actually several rare errors that could make this penny incredibly valuable. One of the most sought-after errors for this coin is the double die obverse. This is where the design on the front of the coin is struck twice, causing the details to appear doubled. The most common places you'll notice this doubling are around the date, 1973, and the word Liberty. You can often see this error clearly if you examine the penny under a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe. The doubling will appear as a slight shadow of the original details, making the numbers and letters look thicker or more prominent. This type of error is highly valued by collectors, as it's relatively rare to find, especially in good condition. Another error to keep an eye out for is the off-center strike. This happens when the penny is misaligned during the minting process, resulting in a design that's shifted to one side of the coin. Sometimes, an off-center penny can be extremely misaligned, with part of the coin left blank or with a significant portion of the design missing. These types of coins can be worth much more than a standard penny, depending on how extreme the off-center strike is. There's also the possibility of die cracks or die chips, which are caused by imperfections in the die used to strike the coin. These errors often appear as cracks or chips in the design, especially around the edges or Lincoln's portrait. While these errors might not be as valuable as double die or off-center strikes, they can still make a penny worth more than its face value, particularly if the crack or chip is large or in a prominent spot. So, why is the 1973 Lincoln penny valuable? Well, the reason for its value boils down to a few different factors: rarity, demand, and condition. A typical 1973 Lincoln penny in circulated condition is worth, at best, its face value of 1 cent. However, when you find a penny with an error, such as a double die or off-center strike, the value can increase significantly. These errors are caused by mistakes during the minting process, making the coins rare and desirable to collectors. The rarer the error, the more valuable the coin becomes. Additionally, condition plays a huge role in determining a coin's value. A 1973 penny with a minting error in mint state, meaning it has no wear or damage, can command a much higher price than a penny that's been heavily circulated. Coins that have been well preserved and graded highly by professionals are especially valuable. Because the 1973 Lincoln penny is still relatively common, most collectors focus on finding those with errors or in excellent condition. Some of the rarest and most valuable 1973 pennies can fetch a few $100s, while others with more extreme errors can be worth thousands of dollars. If you find a 1973 penny with a significant error, such as a well-defined double die obverse or a dramatic off-center strike, you could be looking at a coin worth anywhere between $3,300 and $32,000. Yes, you read that right. So, how do you spot one of these valuable pennies in your collection? Here are a few tips to help you out. Examine the date and Liberty. Start by closely inspecting the date, 1973, and the word Liberty on the obverse. If you see any noticeable doubling, this could indicate a double die error. Look for a shadow or faint second image of the numbers or letters overlapping with the original strike. Check for off-center strikes. Hold the coin up to the light and see if the design is shifted to one side. A dramatic misalignment is a sign of an off-center strike, which can increase the value of your penny. Look for die cracks and chips. Examine Lincoln's portrait and the edges of the coin for any cracks or small chips. While these are less common, they can still make your coin more valuable depending on the size and location of the imperfection. Get a magnifying glass. If you don't have one already, get a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe. It will help you examine the details of the coin more closely, especially when looking for doubling or fine details like die cracks. Consider grading. If you believe you found a rare 1973 penny, consider getting it graded by a professional coin grading service. A high-quality grade can significantly increase its value, and grading will help you get an accurate price estimate. Before we wrap up, I want to hear from you. Have you ever found a rare coin, like the 1973 Lincoln penny, with an error? Or maybe you have a collection of coins you're still trying to evaluate? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear about your discoveries or any tips you have for other collectors. In conclusion, while the 1973 Lincoln penny might seem like just another coin in your spare change, it has the potential to be worth a lot more. From double die obverse to off-center strikes, the value of these coins can increase significantly when they feature rare minting errors. A well-preserved error coin can be worth anywhere between $3,300 and $32,000, a significant increase from its 1-cent face value. So, the next time you're going through your change or sifting through rolls of pennies, keep an eye out for these rare and valuable 1973 Lincoln pennies. You never know when you might stumble upon a hidden gem. Today might be your lucky day. In this video, we're diving deep into a specific year that could hold hidden treasures, the 1981 Lincoln penny. While it may look like just another penny, there's more to this coin than meets the eye. It's a piece of American history, and with the right knowledge, it could be worth a small fortune. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you might be looking at your change a little differently. Let's begin with the key features of the 1981 Lincoln penny. This is a regular issue coin, but it has its own unique characteristics. On the obverse, or front side of the coin, you'll find the familiar portrait of President Abraham Lincoln. This portrait was designed by Victor David Brenner, and it's been featured on the Lincoln cent since 1909. Lincoln is facing to the right, with his image clearly detailed, making him the star of this iconic penny. Above Lincoln's head, you'll see the phrase, "In God We Trust," and beneath his portrait is the year, 1981. To the left of the bust, you'll see the word Liberty. The mint mark, either a D for the Denver Mint or a P for the Philadelphia Mint, will appear just to the right of the date. Flipping the coin over to the reverse, we see the classic design featuring United States of America at the top, E pluribus unum at the bottom, and the denomination 1 cent front and center. This design also includes the 2 ears of wheat, a design element that has graced the reverse of the Lincoln cent since 1909, before it was replaced by the Lincoln Memorial design in 1959. This simple yet iconic design gives the coin a timeless quality. Now, you might be wondering, what's so special about a 1981 penny? Well, let's take a closer look at what could make this seemingly ordinary coin incredibly valuable. Errors are one of the most exciting reasons why a 1981 penny could be worth far more than its face value. Collectors and coin enthusiasts know that mistakes made during the minting process can create coins that are worth a lot of money. And the 1981 penny is no exception. There are a few rare errors you'll want to look out for. One of the most valuable and sought-after errors in the 1981 Lincoln penny is the double die obverse. This error occurs when the design of the coin is struck more than once by the die, which results in the letters and numbers appearing doubled. In the case of the 1981 penny, the most noticeable places for this doubling are the year, 1981, and the word, Liberty. If you look closely and see that the date or letters are thicker or have a shadow effect, you might just be holding a double die coin. This error can significantly increase the value of the penny, especially if the doubling is prominent and easy to spot. Another error to keep an eye out for is the off-center strike. This happens when the coin is struck slightly off-center, causing part of the design to be missing or misaligned. The more extreme the off-center strike, the more valuable the coin. A 1981 penny that's off-center could be worth much more than a penny that's struck perfectly aligned. These types of coins are often prized by collectors because they're unique and rare. You should also be on the lookout for die cracks or die chips. These imperfections occur when the die used to strike the coin starts to wear down or break. The cracks or chips often show up around the edges of the coin or near Lincoln's portrait. While these errors are more common than double die or off-center strikes, they can still add value, especially if the crack or chip is large or in a noticeable spot. So, why is the 1981 Lincoln penny so valuable? Well, as with many rare coins, the value lies in the rarity of certain errors. Minting mistakes, like double die obverse or off-center strikes, happen randomly and are not part of the standard production process. When these errors occur, they create coins that are much rarer than the typical ones you'll find in circulation. Collectors are constantly on the lookout for these types of coins because they're unique, and the demand for error coins continues to rise. Another factor contributing to the value of the 1981 penny is its condition. Like any collectible item, the better the condition, the more valuable the coin. A penny that's been well preserved without any major wear, scratches, or damage can fetch a higher price than one that's been in circulation for decades. If your 1981 penny is in near-perfect condition, especially with an error like a double die or off-center strike, you could be looking at a significant increase in value. The scarcity of these error coins also plays a big role. For example, while millions of 1981 pennies were minted, only a small fraction of them may have been struck with errors. Because of this rarity, the 1981 penny with the right error could be worth thousands of dollars. So, how do you spot one of these valuable error pennies? The key is to carefully examine the details. Grab a magnifying glass or a jeweler's loupe so you can really focus on the small details that make the error pop. Start with the date. Look closely at the 1981 on the obverse of the coin. If you notice any doubling, where the numbers are blurry or duplicated, then you might have found a double die obverse. Next, check the word Liberty. Look for any signs of doubling or extra thickness around the letters. If the letters seem out of alignment or appear to have a second shadow, it's another indication that your penny could have a valuable error. Also, be sure to check the alignment of the coin. Hold the penny at different angles to the light and see if the design is off-center. Even a small misalignment can make the coin much more valuable, so don't overlook it. Finally, inspect the edges and corners of the coin for any cracks or chips. Die cracks or die chips can add value, particularly if they're in a noticeable area like near Lincoln's portrait or around the lettering. So, how much can a 1981 Lincoln penny with an error be worth? Depending on the rarity and severity of the error, as well as the overall condition of the coin, these pennies can be worth anywhere from $3,400 to $35,000. Yes, you heard that correctly. A simple penny can turn into a serious collector's item with the right error and in great condition. Before we wrap up, I've got a question for all of you. Have you ever found a rare coin with an error? Maybe a 1981 penny or another coin you think could be valuable? Drop a comment below and share your coin hunting stories. I'd love to hear about your discoveries. In conclusion, while the 1981 Lincoln penny may seem like a simple, everyday coin, it's definitely worth paying attention to. Whether you're looking for a double die obverse, an off-center strike, or a die crack, there's a lot to discover about this particular penny. So, take a closer look at your pocket change and keep your eyes peeled for those rare, valuable errors. A 1981 penny could be worth anywhere from $3,400 to $35,000, depending on its error and condition. Today, we're diving into a very special coin, the 1971 Lincoln penny. Now, at first glance, this might just look like another typical penny from the early 70s, but trust me, there's a lot more to this coin than meets the eye. Whether you're a seasoned coin collector or just starting your journey, the 1971 Lincoln penny could be hiding some valuable surprises. From rare errors to its unique history, there's so much to discover about this little piece of American currency. So, grab your magnifying glass and let's take a closer look at this iconic penny and see what makes it worth way more than just 1 cent. First, let's talk about the key features of the 1971 Lincoln penny. On the obverse, or the front side, you'll see the classic portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, created by the talented artist Victor David Brenner. This design has been used on the Lincoln cent since 1909, making it one of the most recognizable and beloved coin designs in U.S. history. Lincoln's image faces to the right, with the inscription, "In God We Trust," above his head, and "Liberty" to the left. Beneath his portrait, you'll see the year 1971. If your coin has a mint mark, you'll find it either to the right of the year. For coins minted in Philadelphia, no mint mark is used, or near the date itself for coins minted in Denver, marked with a D. Flip the coin over, and you'll find the reverse. This side features the familiar design with United States of America at the top, E pluribus unum beneath, and 1 cent boldly displayed at the center. The two wheat ears on either side of 1 cent are what give the coin its timeless appeal, as this design graced the back of the penny from 1909 to 1958, before being replaced by the Lincoln Memorial in 1959. The wheat ears are a symbol of prosperity, making this coin even more meaningful for collectors. While the 1971 Lincoln penny might appear ordinary at first, there are certain errors and unique features that can make it highly valuable. As any coin collector knows, errors are one of the most exciting and rewarding parts of the hobby. In fact, one tiny mistake in the minting process could make a penny worth a small fortune. Let's take a look at some of the errors you should watch for in your 1971 pennies. One of the most sought-after errors is the double die obverse. This occurs when the die used to strike the coin makes multiple impressions, resulting in a doubling effect on certain parts of the design. For the 1971 Lincoln penny, the most obvious places to look for doubling are around the date, 1971, and the word Liberty. If you notice that these elements appear thicker or are duplicated in a way that seems unnatural, you could be holding a rare double die error coin. The value of a double die coin can vary greatly depending on the severity of the error, but generally, these coins are worth much more than their face value, and collectors are eager to find them. Another error to watch out for is the off-center strike. This happens when the penny is misaligned during the minting process, causing part of the design to be missing or shifted to one side. The more extreme the misalignment, the more valuable the coin becomes. An off-center 1971 penny can be a real treasure, especially if the error is obvious and the design is significantly misaligned. You should also keep an eye out for die cracks or die chips. These types of errors occur when the die used to strike the coin becomes damaged, leading to imperfections on the surface of the coin. Die cracks often show up as thin lines or cracks running through the design, especially around the edge or near Lincoln's portrait. Die chips, on the other hand, appear as small chunks missing from the coin's surface. These types of errors may not be as dramatic as a double die or off-center strike, but they can still add value, particularly if they're located in a visible area or are more pronounced. So, why is the 1971 Lincoln penny valuable? It comes down to a few key factors: rarity, condition, and minting errors. While the 1971 penny is relatively common, especially when you find one that's in typical circulated condition, the real value comes from finding one with a significant error. Coins with minting errors are often rare, as mistakes don't happen on every coin. The more extreme or obvious the error, the higher the demand from collectors. Additionally, coins in excellent condition, especially those that have been preserved for decades without significant wear, are much more valuable than those that have seen heavy circulation. Coins that have been well preserved and show little to no wear are considered to be in mint state and are generally worth far more than a coin that has been used and abused over the years. The condition is a crucial factor when determining the value of any coin, and the 1971 Lincoln penny is no exception. So, how do you spot a rare and valuable 1971 Lincoln penny? It all comes down to carefully inspecting the coin and looking for specific errors. Here's what you should do: examine the date and the word Liberty. Start by closely inspecting the date, 1971, and the word Liberty on the obverse. If you notice any doubling, where the letters or numbers seem blurry or duplicated, you may have found a double die error. Look for off-center strikes. Hold the penny up to the light and see if the design is shifted to one side. Even a small misalignment can make the coin more valuable, and a dramatic off-center strike can significantly increase its worth. Inspect for die cracks or chips. Examine Lincoln's portrait and the surrounding areas for any cracks or small chips. These imperfections may not be as noticeable at first, but under magnification, they can become apparent. If the crack or chip is large or in a noticeable location, it can add value. Use a magnifying glass. If you don't have one already, grab a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe. This will help you spot any subtle errors, like doubling or die cracks, that might not be visible to the naked eye. Check the overall condition. The better the condition of your coin, the more valuable it is. If your 1971 penny has been well preserved and shows little to no wear, it could be worth significantly more than its face value, especially if it has an error. Now, I bet you're wondering just how much a 1971 Lincoln penny with an error can be worth. Well, depending on the type of error, the condition of the coin, and the severity of the minting mistake, a 1971 penny can be worth anywhere from $3,100 to $38,000. Yes, that's right, a coin that originally only had a value of 1 cent can skyrocket in value due to a minting error, especially if it's in excellent condition and is a rare find. Before we wrap things up, I want to hear from you. Have you ever found a coin with an error, like a double die or an off-center strike? Or maybe you've stumbled upon a 1971 Lincoln penny in your collection that you think might be worth something special? Drop a comment below and let me know what coins you found. I love hearing your coin hunting stories. To sum it all up, while the 1971 Lincoln penny might seem like just another cent at first glance, there's a world of rare errors and valuable coins out there waiting to be discovered. Whether it's a double die error, an off-center strike, or a die crack, these minting mistakes can make your penny worth far more than its face value. A well-preserved, error-filled 1971 Lincoln penny could be worth anywhere from $3,100 to $38,000, and that's no small amount for such a seemingly simple coin. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss out on our latest coin hunting tips and discoveries. Happy hunting, and I'll see you in the next video.